So, when you hear a group being called the kings of P-pop, it's kind of easy to think you know the whole story, right? But with SB19, what you see at first glance, well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Today, we're going to break down why this group isn't just making music. They're actually building an entire industry from the ground up.
Okay, let's just tackle this head on because it's the first thing a lot of people think. You see the razor-sharp choreography, you see the style, the 5 members, and boom, the comparison is immediate. But here's the thing, just writing them off as a copy, that means you miss the entire point of the revolution.
You know, the typical expectation for a pop group is pretty straightforward. Follow the formula. But the reality with SB19, it's a whole different story. They didn't just walk down a path that was already paved for them. They started paving a brand new one. They went from being company-managed trainees to becoming self-managed CEOs. And instead of just following global trends, they became pioneers for Filipino culture on the world stage. To really get who they are, you have to understand just how close they came to not existing at all. Seriously. Their entire career, everything they've built, it all hinged on one single moment. A moment that happened right when they thought it was all over. It's the kind of underdog story you'd expect to see in a movie. And that brings us right to their origin story. This is a journey that goes from complete obscurity and near failure to becoming an overnight viral sensation that completely changed their lives. Let's just walk through the timeline for a second. They debuted back in 2018 with a ballad called Tilaluha, and crickets. Nothing happened. By early 2019, things were so bad, they were literally about to disband. But then, this one dance practice video for their song Go Up gets posted online and it just explodes. That single video saved their careers and pretty much launched them into the stratosphere. So, what was it about that video? What was the secret sauce? It was their kalgum jamu. It's a term that describes that impossibly sharp, perfectly in-sync dancing that just makes your jaw drop and makes you hit the rewind button. The world saw their raw talent, their pure dedication in that practice room, and they just couldn't look away. But you know how it goes. Viral fame also brings out the critics. As they got bigger, so did the accusations that they were just copying other styles. How they responded to this would end up defining their entire identity as artists. And here's the crucial part. Instead of trying to distance themselves from those comparisons, they did the exact opposite. They leaned in. They leaned harder into what made them unique, their Filipino identity. They basically decided to make their music so undeniably Pinoy that you couldn't mistake it for anything else. A perfect example of this, their song MAPA. It's this beautiful, heartfelt tribute to parents, and the title itself literally combines the Filipino words for mama and papa. The song became a massive anthem, tapping right into the heart of a culture that puts family first. And then came what? Oh man, this wasn't just another song. It was a full-blown declaration. A super powerful anthem about self-love, about being resilient, and about standing tall in who you are. And it was just packed with references to Filipino pride. One of the most powerful lines in What is when they reference the watawat, which is the Filipino word for flag. It was such a bold, clear statement. It was them saying, our heritage is our strength, and we're going to wave it proudly for the entire world to see. And they don't shy away from deeper topics either. With the song Ilaw, which means light, they tackle the really important and universal theme of mental health. It was a message of hope, a way of telling their fans, hey, you're not alone in this. It really showed their incredible range and their commitment to making music that matters. But look, making authentic music was only half the equation. To truly have control over their vision, to really navigate the music industry on their own terms, they had to do something pretty radical. They had to take full ownership. So in 2023, they took this massive leap of faith. They left their management company and launched their very own 1Z Entertainment. This wasn't just some business decision, it was a declaration of independence. It was their way of making sure their creative vision would never, ever be compromised. I mean, their evolution has been nothing short of remarkable. They started out as trainees, just following the industry playbook. Then they grew into artists, gaining more of a creative voice. And then they became founders, with their leader, Pablo, stepping up as the CEO. They didn't just get in the driver's seat, they built the whole car. So now, with full creative and business control in their hands, what they built next wasn't just a successful music group. No, it was a global movement with Filipino pride right at its heart. This number right here says it all. In 2021, SB19 became the first Southeast Asian act in history to be nominated for a Billboard Music Award. That was a huge moment. a seismic shift that put P-pop on the global map for good. And the achievements just keep piling up. We're talking multiple wins at Billboard's Fan Army Face-Off. They sold out the enormous Philippine arena for 2 nights straight. They were even appointed as official youth ambassadors for their country. And after a massive world tour, they really crucially kicked the door wide open for a whole new generation of P-pop groups to follow them. And you absolutely cannot tell this story without talking about their fans, A10. This is not a passive audience, not at all. They're an active, organized, global force. They do more than just stream music, they organize huge charity drives and work right alongside the group. It proves this connection is about so much more than just entertainment. So if there's one big takeaway from the whole SB19 journey, it's this. They've shown the world that your authenticity is your superpower. You don't have to water down your identity to find global success. In fact, embracing it is what makes you shine the brightest. SB19's story gives us a pretty powerful answer to that question, doesn't it? They show us you do it with pure grit, with an unwavering belief in yourself, and by planting your flag firmly in the ground for the whole world to see. They didn't just find a path to success. They went out and built one themselves.